Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. The reason you see me.
I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. The highly anticipated trial against Sean Diddy Combs is now underway. It was a whirlwind day. A jury was seated. Opening statements were delivered, and the first two witnesses, a male escort and a former security guard, called. More on their testimony in a moment. There are no cameras allowed in court, but our ABC News team was inside watching, listening to it all. Prosecutors didn't hold back, laying out the government's case against one of the biggest names in entertainment. They say the public knew Sean Combs as Puff Daddy or Diddy, a businessman, larger than life. But prosecutors argued there was a darker side to him, saying he used his trusted inner circle to run a criminal enterprise for decades, painting a picture of a controlling, manipulative, and violent Combs who allegedly forced victims into days-long drug-fueled sexual encounters that prosecutors called freak-offs or Wild King nights. The defense argued Combs is a complicated man, but said this is not a complicated case. His lawyer pointing to that disturbing video of Combs dragging and kicking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, admitting it shows domestic violence, but arguing it is not evidence of sex trafficking.
Wow, guys, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, man. So here we go. You know, this was the first day. Now we're looking at the second day in court. Yesterday was a tough day for Diddy, but it also was a great opening statement day as well. So, you know, he had both, best of both worlds. He got to see his family. That's so important. And I think that pretty much gave him strength. OG, what's going on this morning?
Oh, I guess they cranking it up to put in the washing machine and get him in and get him out. It's
are they trying
pretty devastating. I mean, to me, the way they're they made it so expedient, and they played a portion of the altercation that he had with Cassie Ventura, but they didn't play the entire tape and show the actual evidence, and they made it seem like it was a lover's quarrel about her cheating, and he was jealous. But the defense came up with very good counters that even though it was an argument, even though he did have a fight, it has nothing to do with sex trafficking, exploiting women, or racketeering. Where's the criminal part? If they had a party and people were invited, it had nothing to do with criminal experience. So I don't know how that'll play out. You know, the attorneys that he have, Luigi Mangione, the defense attorney, also represents Combs. Combs' defense team is being led by Mark Agliferio, and who is with his wife Karen Friedman Agliferio is also defending with Mangione, and they were in the murder trial with another major murder trial, and also they got Brian Steele, who was in the Young Thug trial, and fought that case for 2 years, but they're indicating that the Puffy's trial should be over within 6 to 10 weeks, and that's kind of a rush job.
Wow, when you look at his family was in there with him, his daughter, when the male escort got up on the stand and he starts to tell this story of how Diddy was masturbating in the corner while, you know, he was having sex with Cassie. You know, these are the things, and he says that Diddy pushed his chair back. Hold on, let me see if that's where this is where it at. Let me see.
At one point, as a man who says he was paid to have sex with Cassie Ventura while Sean Combs sat in the corner masturbating, Combs pushed his chair away from the defense table. His arms went down and he crossed his legs, listening impassively to all of this. At that point, when the male escort was testifying, his daughters left the room. Yeah, so this is an open deal where they're exposing different things or even lying. Being in that courtroom, you know that they're not telling the truth. A lot of times they make up stuff. They'll lie. I'm not just being real. In my experience, I've seen them do whatever to coerce the jury.
this guy says that, and at one point he says that he was urinating in Cassie's mouth or something, allegedly. And it's just getting to be a thing where it's tough to listen as a child or a young lady, or two young lady, twin girls, at their dad being depicted like this. So, I mean, you know, he pushed his seat back. He's looking at it like, what the hell, you know?
I mean, it ain't too bad in this day and time. I mean, white America been pissing in people's mouths. It's an ongoing thing where a white man would pay a black to have sex with his wife and sit in the corner and masturbate. That's the American way. So Diddy was doing his freaking, and that's not against the law.
Correct. And something that they said that was so valid is that this, with him and Cassie, was if anything, domestic violence. It wasn't a freak off. It wasn't something showing the charges that they're charging them with. And I think that's something that I think is big. If you're charging them with something, but you're showing this to manipulate the juror, I think Steele and that team over there have to expose what they're trying to do, you know?
I mean, but I look at it, if, like you say, this male prostitute depicted, it just shows you how nasty and trifling that Cassie Ventura is, that she'll do anything. So if she'll do that, she'll lie. You know, did he make that she wasn't in bondage having sex with somebody else while he's sitting in the corner? He may be deviant, but it's not a crime to masturbate.
Wow. And you know, it was a long day in court yesterday. I'm hearing that Cassie may take the stand today. They're really rushing this. Let me see what they say as the testimony begins. Hold on.
Kontursky, who was in court for this first official day of the trial. Aaron, opening statements began today. Break down these arguments for us.
They really set the tone for the entire case. You mentioned the kind of Jekyll and Hyde portrayal by prosecutors, someone that the world came to know as Puffy or Puff or Puff Daddy or Diddy or Love, somebody who was larger than life, who was a mogul in multiple industries, and yet who had a darker side. A lot of celebrities have an entourage around them, Eva, but Sean Combs, according to federal prosecutors in their opening statement, operated as a criminal enterprise with trusted insiders whose goal was to coerce women into these drug-fueled sex performances. Some of them, prosecutors said, lasted for days and were referred to by Combs as freak-offs or wild king nights. And the defense sought to downplay these episodes, calling them the consensual threesomes of a celebrity who led a swingers lifestyle. And though they conceded that Combs could be violent with women, even women that he loved and was in a relationship with, they said he's not charged with being violent. He's not charged with domestic violence, with assault even. They said he's charged with sex trafficking and what's depicted on the video in the Los Angeles hotel from 2016. And in other episodes, they say may show Combs being violent, but doesn't show him being a sex trafficker. And they say it wasn't part of any racketeering conspiracy as alleged.
Wow. See, so the things they're charging him with, and what they're showing and what they're trying to push it toward is definitely not just lining all the way up. I think it's a manipulative tactic they're trying to use to sway the jury to say, you know, he was angry, he was this, just problematic things that they're bringing out in court. It's crazy. They're trying to, you know, stir the narrative like they are. So, OG, what do you think?
Yeah, well, like we say about today, and it says in the criminal trial highlights claims made by four women, including Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, and 3 other whom will testify anonymously. Now you're going to be anonymous and you testify. Now you don't want your name known, but you was in the freak off and you're making the accusation. Why are you making the exact accusations anonymously?
Well, they're doing it because they're trying to keep their job or keep their escort service or whatever they do under wraps so they can keep doing what they do.
If I was the defense team, I wouldn't allow it. I'd have their faces all over the camera on the internet. That's what I don't. His attorney team, I'm not really, because the Luigi Mangione is a loser. He was in the murder trial for the United Healthcare CEO, Brian Thompson. Didn't work out well. The man got a life sentence on that. So I don't see any of his attorneys beside Brian Steele, who really was in a representation with Young Thug in Atlanta, and his big sway was they had 8 black jurors. But in New York, I guarantee you they don't have 8.
No, they don't have 8 black jurors, but they do have, I believe it was 8 men and 4 women. I don't know what their nationality is, but it's 8 men.
They all from Manhattan. I bet you that half of them clear people are Mexicans or Puerto Ricans. Ain't that many spades gonna get on the stage, and not New York. Everybody dodging jury duty, you know.
Wow.
So
wow, man. I just thank you. Appreciate you, OG. We're gonna be watching today to see what happens today as we go into the second day of Diddy's trial, and just, man, the first day with the witness that spoke up, the only one that really just made crazy noise is this male escort who told some hideous secrets but really these things that he's telling, is it a simple is this a simple assault, or is this a simple this is not sex trafficking, I don't believe, but that's just me. This stuff is all, subjective. So get in the comments and let us know, what do you guys think? Do you think this will be an end to Diddy? And do you think they're rushing this because they're trying to do? But let me know what you guys think, because it's a little different than what we're used to seeing. Go ahead.
I want to give a shout out to the Nation of Islam, Brother Don Trey, and the security team for Diddy's family.
Okay.
The brothers looked good yesterday, and hey, the one thing about it, if he had had the Nation of Islam with him, all this wouldn't have happened.
Wow. OG, I don't know about that, because you shot the Nation of Islam out as if to say all this would happen. This is years and years of Diddy doing what Diddy supposedly done, and I don't, like you said, it's not something that you can just say was criminal. He was just, if he was in the life and he was dealing with swinger issues and all that, how do you stop that? I mean, that's not going to stop.
It's a certain protocol when you do certain things. You can look at everything that ever happened. It never happened. When we were dealing with Tupac, the Nation of Islam was doing security, nothing ever happened to Pac. Soon as we got off the detail and the police came on the detail, Pac got killed. Biggie, when Shaheed offered Sean Combs and the police was involved, Biggie died. No one died on our watch, bro.
Well, again, OG, that's a good break, but with a freak off, you guys are not. Yeah. It's not something to where I've never seen nobody, and I could be wrong. A colored brother that's a billionaire, a color. Did you hear me say color?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
A black guy that is being held in court for a freak off is a whole different level of a case than I'm used to seeing. This is something I'm not used to seeing. This is a first.
See, what you're missing, what I'm saying, in a structured situation, in security in the Nation of Islam, it's nobody participating. You got dudes that's working now. They're turning on Diddy, talking about they was there and they did this. His security team.
Oh yeah. I see what you're saying now. I got you.
Now you participate in certain things. There's certain things. It's just like with Kanye. As long as Kanye, the team was with him, then these far out accusations come. As soon as the Nation left, now he's on all these rampages because it's other security teams that allow you to make these kind of mistakes just so they can have something against you in times like this.
Wow. No, I'm picking up what you're putting down now, OG. Man, guys, get in the comments again, like we said earlier. Let us know what you think about Diddy. How will he turn out today? And will Diddy be putting anybody on the stand far as just from his team and things that they seen to counteract that? That's what's going to be interesting. Let me know what you think. Boss Talk 101 reviews.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.